Smith & Wesson Model 6906. Let's check it out. When Smith & Wesson introduced their semi-automatic series, starting out with their first generation, they were reliable, they were really fully accepted by law enforcement, moving away from the standard revolvers. And that was a big deal, and Smith & Wesson was king. Then they went with their second generation, then came out with their third generation around 1990. These guns were actually produced for 25 years. There's a lot of different variations. Now, with the polymer frame striker fire pistols, we're getting a lot of these as police trade-ins. And these are just excellent firearms. They were when they were issued, and they still are today. And I want to thank AIM Surplus for sending this 6906 for the test and evaluation. That is a great source for surplus firearms. And one thing about police trade-ins or military surplus is when they first come in and they're plentiful, the price is right. Once that dries up, these become collector items, guys, and the price will go up. Now, while Smith & Wesson Gen 3 pistols are old school, I mean, they're definitely an older design, there are a lot of companies now that are offering double single action aluminum frame pistols that are brand new to the market because there's a resurgence. There's a lot of safety in these double single action pistols. With the aluminum frame or the alloy frame, and then you have a stainless steel slide. Of course, it's just that old school design, but yet these are very reliable handguns. And again, they were in production for 25 years. We're going to go ahead and drop the magazine. It is a 12-round stainless steel magazine. It does have a small little finger rest. Check the chamber, and the gun is empty. Now, when we first bring it back, you're going to see that the hammer, of course, is in the rear position. It is a bobbed hammer, so you're not going to be able to cock the hammer once it's recessed into the slide. But one thing you'll notice is that we have a magazine disconnect, and I'm not a big fan. One thing too is you got to really pop the magazine to get it in there. Now there is a decocker, and we're going to bring the decocker down, and so that renders the gun in safe mode. So this is a safety. Then when you lift it back up, you're into fire. So you can fire this, and this is really the way it's meant to be carried in double single action. And so one of the things is the first round that you load, the hammer is going to be in the rear position, but as you decock it, the hammer drops. That first trigger pull is going to be much heavier than the second and following trigger pulls. After you decock the pistol, you bring it back up into safe, and that first pull of the trigger is double action, so it's long. But the second shot is quick, so it's really important to make sure that you anticipate that longer trigger pull. So we're going to decock it, disengage the safety, long trigger pull, short trigger pull. And this is the way you would carry it to keep it safe. So you got to train with that double action. Now this is the 6906. They did make it in the 4906, which is a blued slide with a blue or a black finish on the bottom. But this is the stainless steel color. It does have wraparound polymer type grips, and it's kind of old school. They're not really that aggressive, but there is some checkering or some serrations on the front, and then of course with this on the back. So really it feels fairly good in the hand. This again was used by law enforcement for a long time, and these were in production for 25 years. So Smith & Wesson did some things right with it. In fact, there's a lot of people that would like to see Smith & Wesson reintroduce this style pistol. But the great thing is right now with police trade-ins, we're able to get these at a very reasonable price. If these were currently made by Smith & Wesson, they would be really expensive because making double single action pistols, it's just more expensive. There's more fitting. There's more that's going on inside. And that's one of the things about your polymer frame pistols is that they are very inexpensive to produce. Now here we have one of the M&P 2.0s. This is the 3.6-inch barrel. And I'm going to show you something that really kind of surprised me. These guns are almost identical in size. And so it's really, it's just really whether you want polymer frame striker fire or your double single action pistol. Of course, the grip texturing here is really tough. It's a little more ergonomic as far as in your hand. But we shot these kind of side by side, and honestly, the 6906, it still feels really great when shooting. You'll notice one thing though here at the top, because of the ambidextrous decocker, it does come out just a little bit more. But this is still an excellent concealed carry option. Now the 12-round magazines, definitely these are not being produced anymore by Smith & Wesson, so you're going to have to pay a premium for these. But Medgar makes 5906 mags or any of the 59 series, and they will work in this pistol. But it will hang out. Now this is the 15 rounder. They make a 17 and a 20 rounder. And Gun Mag Warehouse actually sent these for another review that I did, but they work just fine in this pistol, and we did a lot of testing with it. So you can see though that it does hang out. And I don't think Medgar makes any of the more compact mags. But if you want extra mags, this is definitely a good option. Has the rounded off trigger guard, and it is serrated at the front. You have your slide release here, again ambidextrous, safety, or decocker. And so, and then the sights, metal sights, 3-dot, they are a little dingy, but if you clean them up, they come out really well. Of course, the front sight is dovetailed, and then the rear sight, and you should be able to get aftermarket sights if you want to put night sights or something like that on it. I think Brownells would probably be a good source, but I'm sure there are others. One of the things about these old Smiths is the finish and everything is really nice. But these are police trade-ins, so you're going to get some wear, a little bit of high spots here and there. But the great thing is it is stainless, and of course this is an aluminum frame, so even though you have these high spots, it's not going to affect the gun. There's not going to be any kind of rust or anything like that that's going to show up. It is a kind of a matte finish as well, and of course on the side here we have Smith & Wesson, Springfield, Massachusetts, and then right down here we have the markings of the serial number and also the model number. The barrel length is 3.5 inches, so it's just a little bit shorter than the M&P 3.6-inch barrel. Weight on the model 6906, 1 pound 9.8 ounces. Weight on the Smith & Wesson 2.0 3.6-inch barrel, 1 pound 9.6 ounces. It's only a 0.2 ounce difference between these two handguns, which is a little bit surprising considering that this is all metal, but it is an aluminum frame. Now we're going to look at the trigger pull action, and of course that first shot is double action, and so we're going to bring the hammer back. So guys, that is a very smooth, consistent take up, and then you have that really nice break. We're going to check for reset. It's right there. I mean, the reset is super fast. Now with the hammer in the single action position, we have a little take up right here, very smooth, and then a nice break. Let's check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 5 pounds, 8.8 ounces. 5 pounds, 7 ounces. 5 pounds, 7 ounces. That is really consistent. Double action trigger pull. 9 pounds, 9.5 ounces. And guys, that's really consistent with the double action. It's going to be just under 10 pounds. But what that does, it gives you a safety. And so if we have it and we're carrying it in this position, for you to pull that first shot, you've got to really mean to do so. And then of course with the single action, it's going to be again a lot lighter, and you can get those faster follow-up shots. Now one thing you do want to be careful of is if you do decock it, is to make sure that you pop it back up into fire position. And this is the best way to carry it. The Beretta 92s also have a very similar safety. Now we're using some 9mm Gecko ammo. This came from AIM Surplus. Really nice for them to send this. And we're using the standard mag that comes with it, but any of the 59 series Smith & Wesson mags will fit. Great thing is Metgar makes these, and Gun Mag Warehouse sent these for me just to help with this review. Now obviously you're buying a used firearm, especially a police trade-in or a military surplus, and there is some concern about reliabilities. Is the gun just worn out? But one of the things about police trade-ins in particular is that they're shot little and they're carried a lot. And so you're going to get some holster wear just on the surface, just a few things, but not anything that, would hinder the firearm. As far as reliability goes, the model Smith & Wesson, especially this Gen 3, were extremely reliable. I mean, they had a great reputation. Law enforcement put a lot of confidence in these handguns. So you're going to get good reliability. We got it out of the 6906. No malfunctions at all, except for the slide sometimes on the last round. Now here it's holding back now, but sometimes it wouldn't hold back. And once I looked at the follower on the magazine that holds the slide release up, it was a little bit worn. And so we were getting a little bit of that. We put the Metgar mags in there and we had 0 malfunctions. So as far as holding the slide open. So great little firearm if you're wanting something that's fairly inexpensive but yet is a lot of quality. That's one of the things about Smith & Wesson. One of the things too is it does have that kind of a squared off older school grip. But really once you put it in your hand, I mean, it just shoots really well. Now for disassembly, drop your magazine, check to make sure that the chamber is empty. Right here you're going to see this little notch. You want to bring it to the front part of the takedown lever, which is right here. Then on the other side, you can push it out. Actually, I was going to use a punch, but it comes right out. And then just pull out your takedown lever. And then just bring the slide forward. Here we have our recoil spring and guide rod. Of course, it is metal. And then we have our barrel. The barrel kind of bulges out a little bit. You have your locking lugs right here. And these guns, now this one's pretty dirty, but you can see the barrel. Then the old school, again, dirty. I haven't cleaned it yet. And then, of course, you have your hammer design. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. Just return your barrel, bring in your recoil spring and guide rod. Replacing the slide's a little different. You'll need to drop this lever right here, and then on the back there are actually 2 levers. So you're going to push down on one, and then there's a second one. This can be a little tough to be able to push down at first. The hammer is in the drop position. You'll need to have it that way. That can be a little tough. There we go, we got it over. So we're going to go ahead and bring back our slide, and we're going to get this position for the slide stop. Drop it in. Of course, we have to return our magazine to test for function, and we're good to go. A little different, but not really that big of a deal. Pros and cons of the pistol. With these surplus trade-ins coming in, the prices are right. Again, guys, for this to be produced today, you'd probably pay about $750 or more for a current production pistol. And here we're getting it for $349.95, and that's on the AIM Surplus website. And they do carry a number of different ones. A lot of times we see police trade-ins, but they're mostly 40 caliber. So getting a 9mm double single action pistol like this with Smith & Wesson quality really is an excellent find. And once these dry up, guys, I'm telling you, the price will go up. So really, it's always a good time when these start coming in, if you're looking for one, to go ahead and pull the trigger and pick up one, because these are classics and they are just as an effective self-defense handgun as anything on the market. Definitely with the double single action, it's a little bit different if you're used to striker fire, but these are very safe to carry. As far as cons go, it is a little bit blocky, the grip is, compared to a lot of the new, modern, very ergonomic pistols, but it still feels really nice in your hand. Magazine options, definitely if you're looking for original Smith mags, you're probably going to pay a premium, but then again, you have your Metgar options, And Metgar is one of the companies that makes a lot of mags for different gun manufacturers. So these are really high quality. Finding holsters and sights and accessories for it may be a little more difficult, but shouldn't be too much because there were so many of these made. Again, these were produced for about 25 years. So there's a lot of options and aftermarket support out there. So honestly, guys, between these two, you have your double single action, you have your striker fire, polymer frame, aluminum frame. You know, it's just two different total styles, and yet both of them are excellent handguns. Really, one of the biggest things with the polymer frame is you're going to get a more ergonomic grip, and you're going to get an accessory rail. With the striker fire, very consistent capability. But if you're looking for a double single action, this little 6906 would be an excellent choice. And I want to thank Aim Surplus for sending this pistol for this test and evaluation. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Hold on. Is it? I'm afraid I'm moving the pistol. Am I good?
You're good.
Okay. Where's the Lula loader? We need the Lula loader. Just kidding. I guess I know it's back there. Around the year, I can't get it to not lock open. That's just funny.
It's saying the card's full now.